2,
Hello, motherfucker.
1. Welcome to the Frequency Junkies podcast. I'm Philip. To my right is my wonderful co-host, Greg on the beat.
Hello, motherfucker.
And then to my left is our guest, also most likely third co-host, Malachi.
What's up?
MP.
You know, we gotta have an old head here to balance us out a little bit, because we might get a little fucking reckless. And me. So this is my dad for the podcast.
There you go.
Since mine's a piece of shit. So anyways, this is going to be a podcast strictly around rap music and the culture of whatever happens during the week, or just topics that we think of during the week. Album reviews for anything that we feel is worthy enough to listen to, because I'm not going to listen to some shit that I already know. I don't like the artist.
Exactly.
Because then it's just, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just be a reviewer. I'm going to be like an actual consumer too, you know?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to review shit just because Twitter rap community tells me to.
Yeah, first of all, fuck the Twitter rap community.
Fuck most of communities in Twitter. They're either really, really toxic or toxic.
I have a Twitter
Fair
I
enough.
do not use at all. So
I'm telling you, you're not missing anything from
No.
not using the
I
Twitter.
do not use it.
Yeah, it's a pretty shit type of technology.
Yeah.
So,
What was the first one?
First, actually, funny story. We already recorded this.
yeah, we actually had an hour and a half recorded,
But
and it
then
was a great
Greg's
podcast.
Greg's laptop kind of tweaked, so
Yeah,
we
it,
brought out mine.
It went to sleep.
Then
on
he had the
us.
nerve to ask me if mine can handle it. You can fuck off, pal. Cheers. Also, we're sponsored by
homie.
Miller Lite. So
Actually, we wish we were.
American water.
Make it happen.
Wow.
Wheat water.
Water with hops in it.
Tastes like a homeless man's foot.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
some good foot.
Now you lost your sponsorship.
Roosevelt and Canal type shit.
But somehow still good.
Yeah, I still
Still
drink
very
this
good.
over
I'm
Bud
a
Light.
Heineken man. I actually like Heineken and Blue Moon. I actually
Yeah,
like
but
that.
like if
A
we're
lot of
talking like
Asians love Heineken,
That's why I dated
yeah,
and Mexicans love
Yeah.
Heineken. Is it Heineken or Guinness? No, it's Heineken.
Heineken.
Yeah,
Guinness is good too, but
Guinness
it's,
is
it's an
too-
acquired taste.
too
I
thick.
had it.
Yeah.
It was too thick. Yeah,
It's
it was
heavy.
too thick, yeah.
cool if
It'll
you
make
drink
you
like
feel
a-
like you ate like
an
a
Irish
fucking
car
full ass
bomb,
meal.
though.
Yeah,
Ever
those are
have
good.
one of
Those are
those?
good. Yeah.
I just learned what a Boilermaker was recently. I was like, I never knew what the hell that
That
was.
sounds like a sex position.
So it's beer, and you take a shot of liquor. You can either do it separately, or you just drop it in there. It fizzles, and you just drink it all at once.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's what that's called.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not very hip to
beer,
those types of drinks.
Hard liquor in a shot glass, drop it into the beer, drink it.
I think I was like 23 when I figured out names of any mixed drinks.
I didn't know what it was. I heard it. I seen it in movies, but I never knew what it was. I was like, that's a Boilermaker. You just drop it in there. Drink it.
I never actually go out of my way to find that shit out though. It's always like somebody puts you onto it at the bar.
Well, I mean, I saw it in movies.
It's like an ongoing fucking domino effect. Like they tell you about it, you tell somebody else about it.
Like that drink that people that like
And
they
they
be
continue.
flaming up and shit, and they be drinking it. Like, what the fuck is that?
That's vodka, isn't it?
It
Don't
just has
they,
to be anything,
like, shots?
It just has to be anything that's like strong enough proof.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna buy. Bitches are like, let's take a Vegas bomb. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is in this?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know, something.
It gives you heartburn because it's sweet as fuck.
Red
Just
Bull
drinking it while it's on fire and shit.
Isn't
like,
it Red Bull?
You can put Red Bull.
and vodka or some shit.
I've heard that it was like Red Bull vodka and like some fucking
By the way,
cherry liqueur.
we would accept a Red Bull sponsorship as well.
Actually,
but we have to have the little mini fridge. Though.
Actually, I will accept the Bang because Trump 2020, nigga. Actually, Red Bulls don't do
SMH.
shit for me anymore, bro. I drink a Red Bull at work and I was like,
Yeah, I'm used to that shit. Red Bull doesn't really do
Bang
I fuck
though?
with 'em.
No,
Ooh, Bang will grow some hair in your chest, young man.
Bang bang a skeet skeet, motherfucker.
So, anyways, first topic on the docket
Scammers.
is going to be scammer rap. And if you are not too familiar with that, that will be the two rappers Guap Dad 4000, which he sounds like a generic ass game system. And then you have TJ6X,
Which also sounds like a bunk game system.
which also sounds like some kind of modification to GTA or something.
Yeah.
But either way, besides what they actually rap about, they are terrible.
Their music is it's awful.
Guap Dad is either trying to be hard or
I think
trying to be soft, and it just does not fit his he's not in the right pocket. Very generic melodies that have been used in the early 90s. and they're generic now because you have rappers like Young Thug that have amazing melodies with his voice.
Yes.
I just gotta get around the wearing the dress thing, but yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
actually, funny story about that. I have a buddy that lives in Atlanta. He's like, you know what's crazy is where Young Thug is from, his entire section of Bloods
They're
all
sus.
dresses in skirts and shit like that because of what he said.
It's a kill.
What he said, like, I wear a dress because I got an AK underneath the type shit.
Gangsta-licious all over.
And, like, they're, like, really reckless, hard motherfuckers.
Hey, can we please stop calling magazines dicks? Stop saying that.
That's
That's
the gun with the dick.
huh?
Magazines the
No,
dick?
the magazine.
And actually, in Oakland, California, a dick is a long blunt. So
This is why I'm 37.
there's no way in fucking... There's no...
I don't think that's why.
37.
I don't think that's the reason why you're
This
37. I think you just happen to be
I
37.
am,
and
and
it just
I'm glad
sounds.
to be here because this shit.
I mean, there's no fucking way I'm gonna say I'm smoking on big dicks because there's no. If you're tweaking, I'm gonna say, damn, you're smoking dicks, bro. But like, I'm not gonna say I'm smoking dicks because that's the biggest pause in the world.
You know, in England, a cigarette's a fag, so I don't know if they still use that though.
Yeah, but that's like a word that came before the slur,
True.
you know,
Yeah.
or it's a bushel of
Still gotta
sticks.
Ask for a fag. Can we get a fag?
Oh, by the way, I mentioned
Ask
this
a
in our
hood nigga
previous
that one time
recording.
Roosevelt.
Right.
I mentioned this on our previous recording. I just want to clarify. This is going to be the most politically incorrect podcast you will ever listen to. So
Trigger
if you're easily
warning.
We
offended,
don't hate anybody.
don't listen to it.
No, we don't hate anyone.
Tune out right now.
I actually take
please.
that back. I hate everybody and I love everybody. the
Yes,
same.
we clarified last time as well that he is a bigot, not a racist. We hate everybody equally here at this podcast, so just know that.
I have a beer with anybody.
So if we
Gay.
pick on your race today, we might pick on another tomorrow.
I have a beer with anybody, gays, trans, all that. I may not like it, but I will.
We'll save that combo for your podcast.
I
sir.
will.
Yes.
Because anyways, TJ6X, if you guys are not too familiar, he was on No Jumper in podcasts. Shout out to the Culture Vulture Adam himself.
Yeah, douchebag.
Another white man profiting off our culture.
Capitalizing.
Culture
But
vulture, they call him.
yeah, no, I call him that.
Well,
The kids don't because they love him. He's like fucking 80.
Who?
Adam 2200. He's fucking old as
Yeah,
shit.
he is pretty old. A little too old to be interviewing people who
And
are.
a little too old to be dick riding 16-year-old rappers. You know,
Yeah.
like you're almost 40, but you really want to be 16 all over.
How about
again.
that airhead chick that he continually interviews too? Who the fuck is
Lena?
she?
Lena?
No, not his
I
girl.
was gonna say
No, that other dumbass
she's a fucking
bitch.
airhead too.
Um,
I don't watch him, bro, at all. I despise him.
what's her name? I know she like fucked a lot of rappers, and he continually like has her on there
Tiana
and
Trump?
interviews her. I forgot her name. I'll have to pull it up, but
I like how you tried the Tiana Trump. I heard that. I see that interview.
She's the best thing to come out of Indiana since Mike Pence.
no comment.
I wish I was around when she was giving up all that charity, bro.
No
I
comment.
think in her bio on Twitter, you can still book her though.
I'm not paying for it.
Not anymore.
Oh, I'm not.
I feel like
So these other guys,
I'm not confident enough to fuck her.
Oh, no.
She's yeah.
So these skimmer rappers, you said they came up.
Yeah, so in an interview he was
That's a
saying
nice change of pace.
about how like he
I like how you did
started
that.
making fake Twitter pages and then Instagram pages, acting as if he was like a wholesale warehouse and that people would be able to buy electronics, iPads, TVs, Xboxes,
Very legit.
whatever you could think of, from a guy off the internet. And he would just not ship anything because he didn't have anything. And then eventually he moved into cracking cards, fake social security numbers, not fake, they're real, but not his.
Which, by the way, these people usually get their money back, so it's not the worst thing you could do.
And then eventually he started moving into just the black market, bought his first gun off there. You know, just basically identity
Isn't
theft
there
to
easier
the
ways to
fullest.
get a gun, though? I mean,
In our streets, it is.
yeah, I guess in Chicago, but I mean,
Chance
I
the
think
Rapper
all
said
over.
It's easier to find a gun than it is to find a parking spot, which is a fucking dramatic as shit. Because
Yeah.
last weekend was the first person I ever met with an actual legit illegal gun. So I'm 27 years old, and the other people that have had illegal guns, it's a little fucking iffy.
Yeah, fair enough.
We won't plug names because you're not worth my time. So,
Yeah.
but
I think we know
anyways,
a couple people.
but besides of like the fact that he incriminates himself in interviews, not really too sure if he's ever had a case for that, but the fact that they're not investigating heavy and he's
Sketchy.
able to talk about this in interviews,
Yeah, I know.
it's pretty sketchy. And it's also sketchy because like you're not that fucking popular.
It
so I
takes
know
away
you
from
don't
his
have
credibility.
power.
It takes away from his credibility. Credibility for
Yeah,
sure.
Wow.
I always grew up
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
fucking-
era where you can't,
I'm all over the
you
place right
shouldn't
now.
tell on yourself when you're doing things. So like that's really weird to hear. I've never even heard of that.
Basically, snitching on yourself is not the route you should go down.
No,
I think if you're scamming, you
Jay-Z
should probably
snitched on
rap
himself.
about something else.
yeah, I mean, but now he's getting older. I don't even think he really gives a shit. But like when I was growing up, like
I lost 27 pounds or some crazy shit. I forgot what he said.
like the movie Menace to Society, like they videotaped the crime and shit, and they were like passing it around, but like they didn't know. I was like, hey, I'm robbing the store. You know what I'm saying? Like that was.
He was ahead of his fucking time.
I know, right? But, yeah, it was.
That was a great movie.
It was a good movie.
But besides all this backlash on him, he's a terrible fucking rapper. Offbeat as shit.
Music is terrible.
Engineer is terrible.
G Herbo ripoff.
Blueface
doesn't
ripoff.
even do it really well. Blueface ripoff.
T Grizzly
for sure.
was super ripoff.
And Blueface doesn't even do it well.
I don't understand what's up with Detroit niggas and not being able to catch a flow. You guys are the Motown city.
Chicago too.
Like
Some of you Chicago rappers.
you guys are the not Music City. That's Memphis. But you guys are Motown. Like you guys have fucking classics come out of there, and you can't even catch a flow on a fucking boom, boom.
Well,
Like
Detroit has gone down since then, so it's not the same Detroit as it was back then. So maybe they lost it. They need to get it back.
the legalization of weed fucked them up.
Oh, we like that.
Weed's legal over there? Oh yeah, that's Michigan.
Yeah, we like that. Yeah, we do. We like that. I can't wait. January 1st. Can't wait.
No comment. That's mainly never mind. You know,
But like scammer rap in general is just a crazy topic because it's different than saying like a rapper saying like I sold 30 pounds last week. Like, okay. But you might have, you
I guess
probably
it's better
haven't.
than-
But you're like really saying like it'd be like I went onto the black market, got a credit card, bought a bunch of TVs, sold it to another guy.
These are
No.
indie songs.
Yeah, bro, like,
Yeah.
and kind of like that flow too, where it's like, you know, I was on Silk Road, saw a girl OD, like, it's like, bro,
Wow.
yeah, I've went on Silk Road a couple times, and honestly, the only thing I ever ran into were just like pages that led you to either celebrity nudes or child pornography,
and that's pretty fucked up.
and that's when I got off there because I wanted
Which
to buy.
that,
Honestly,
that's also sus too, though, because then
I'm gonna incriminate myself. I went on there to go buy like thousands of hits of acid, and then
there's no proof of that. So
I was just like,
for the record, I just met this guy today.
I was like, I don't know, man. As much child pornography as there on there, I feel like everything is just too watched now, you know, with the whole
Quick question.
black market shit.
How is acid? What does it do?
It's fucking beautiful, bro.
Never tried it.
All right.
It's great.
Okay.
I don't really know how to describe it.
Well, I know I'm not trying any drugs until I get 60. It's
wavy, baby.
So, yeah.
What if you don't make it to 60?
Oh, I'm making it at 60.
Okay.
Do you work out and eat, right?
No, he does not.
You take your vitamins?
Eats cheeseburgers for breakfast.
I feel like we're the people that are going to live longer.
Cheeseburger for breakfast? You know you don't eat for breakfast. I like Burger King's breakfast or McDonald's burger.
White Castle too.
Oh,
But,
White Castle's breakfast
hey,
is pretty good.
Disclaimer: White Castle's breakfast.
Love you, sponsor.
Fire. I'm sorry. Wait, that's actually a white supremacist thing now, according to the news. I
What
should
is
not do that hand
What
signal.
is it? Oh, that one? Yeah, I heard about that.
That's fucking bullshit. But that's for another podcast. That'll be on his podcast.
That'll be on my podcast, yes.
Scam rap. What's the consensus? Whack or dope? Dope or whack?
Fugazi.
Whack.
Terrible.
They're doing it for the dope.
That's 3 for 3. That's
Cool. What was the next one?
Cardi B.
Oh, boy.
Notice
So-
none of us. Yeah.
So before we got here, I asked Greg what's the name of her album because I didn't even know that she had an album.
Fair warning? No, that sounds called.
I don't think a lot of people did.
No, I think it's Invasion of Privacy.
Invasion
Yeah, yeah.
of privacy.
So I
yes.
listened to it, and I came with a consensus that when she's doing a song for like commercially, like when she's doing her, putting her commercial face on, it's actually tolerable. When it's strictly for the album or strictly for people to like, it's just straight explicit. It is terrible, and
You can only rap about your pussy so much.
You can
Just
only
throwing
rap
that
about
out
your
there.
pussy for so much. You know what I'm saying? Like I can only talk about my dick for so long.
Isn't it crazy that like the ghetto phase kind of like surpassed being the majority in like 2010, and yet
Yeah.
everybody praises her for being that ratchet ghetto person.
Right.
But
Which
like
none
in
of them are the same
reality,
shit.
Think about how many times you take the CTA train, you see someone ratchetly ghetto as fuck, and you're like, dude, shut the fuck up. I do not want you to be near me. But yet they just, she's real.
They
That's
praise
her
her for
personality.
They praise her for it.
No, and like you were saying earlier, before we got deleted, it was that they're pushing her to the forefront, and they were doing it with I saw it with Nicki Minaj, and I was talking about the movie The Other Woman. You guys didn't even know she was even in that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
had no
Barbershop,
fucking clue.
And it's like they pushed that forward, and then now her relevancy is pretty much dead. Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B has taken over,
Yeah, of
and
course,
Nicki
yeah, of
Minaj
course,
is a nobody.
Yeah,
Nicki,
Which is why she claimed her retirement. Oh, actually, I never brought that up in the last one.
Right.
She actually claims to have retired.
Oh, did she?
But retire from what? You were knocked off your pedestal.
Oh yeah.
So
But-
it was like I thought she already retired without even saying it.
Well, who did she knock off?
Almost like a Lil Wayne thing, like Lil Wayne.
I
really
feel
doesn't
like
pop
she's on
music.
a lot of drugs right now, bro. She's almost 40, and she's just like, I think she has a mental illness in a way.
Dating
something
felons
is
and
wrong
shit?
with her, bro. To be honest.
But see, here's her come up, and she did that to Kim. She went directly after Kim. So
Yeah,
like,
but think about it. When has Kim's career
no,
actually
Kim was-
died?
Kim was that too, but I
A
mean,
long
she did that
time ago.
notoriety, and she came directly after Kim, and now Cardi's here, and Cardi's coming directly after her. You know what I'm saying? So I hope Bad Baby comes after Cardi.
That's called karma, my friend.
I would say maybe she came after what's that lady that used to rap with Trick Daddy? Trina.
Trina, yeah.
Feel like she came after her because Trina definitely
Wasn't there a beef at one
Trina
point?
was
Or am I
after
just making that up?
Trina
And Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, it
There was a
small
beef
one.
at one point.
It wasn't that big. It was a small.
Yeah,
beef,
it was small. It's short-lived.
hate to say it, but women beef is never big. Also,
It's never as
trigger
serious.
warning: if you're a woman, this is probably be the most misogynistic podcast you're gonna listen to.
It's not even because we don't like women or don't respect them. It's more or less, like I said before, we hate everybody equally. So it's not
I
personal.
think for me, it's just for female rappers. It's just I don't know. Like I if I had a female rapper that I did like from back in the day, it would be
Pass
MC
me
Light.
Who?
MC Light. Oh Lord, I'll get you old head.
She's on,
It's old head
She's
time.
on Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City.
Right, MC Light.
Really? On
Yeah.
what song?
I don't fucking know.
The Brat. When I was growing up, she was
Missy
Okay.
Elliott.
Yeah, I've heard.
Missy
Yeah.
Elliott. I was on the producer side. Missy was much better on the producer side than on the
Very
rapper side.
masculine.
Yeah, because she was much better as a producer than she was a rapper.
like this in the raps.
Oh, that was nice.
Like this.
You know what I'm saying? But then after a while, I'm trying to think of other female rappers that I used to like. See, people like Charlie Baltimore, terrible.
How do you feel
should
about-
check out Snow the Product?
That's an interesting
She's
point
a
that you raised.
Hispanic rapper from Texas.
She doesn't really have it. Like she has a good following, but she's not really mainstream.
She signed to Tech Nine.
For some reason, like they like I don't know if it's because of the industry, but like she has not broken past like that being a Chicago celebrity thing.
Okay.
She's from Chicago, right?
From down south.
Is she?
She's from Texas.
I thought she
She's
was
either
from
Texas
Chicago.
or LA. She's
Well,
not-
she has a huge following in Chicago, though.
Okay. See, I like Queen
And-
Keith, and she's from Chicago. I like that. She's
Yeah.
like that, she's
Yeah, but like for some reason, she has not broke past like that, like being a how would you call it, underground rapper versus being like a mainstream
I'm
rapper.
not gonna lie, she probably has a lot more money than most of these rappers, though.
Yeah, and talent too. She could actually rap.
Yeah,
And
she
I
could
think
rap.
she actually writes her own stuff.
Oh yeah, she does, bro.
But
And she's fine too.
you were saying
No
before.
comment.
The whole
comment.
the Cardi being in Fast and the Furious and the shit like that, which I'm very upset about. I think it should just
Yeah,
die
I
after
think
this
that's
one,
terrible.
if you're gonna start doing it, and then you put John Cena in it to replace The Rock.
I expressed
the
my
pl-
hate for that.
Watch
in
the
the last
plot
one.
twist is Cardi B's really only there for like 20 minutes,
I
maybe.
20 minutes
Like
too
a
long.
quick, like Vin Diesel's like, bitch, get on the first like,
well, she's gonna be the eye candy because
No,
that's eye candy.
that's not gonna be her noise.
Michelle
though.
Rodriguez tomboy ass is more
Hey,
eye
hey, her-
candy than fucking
Wait,
Cardi B.
you said she's gonna make what noise?
I don't even remember, but that was
You said. No, it's gonna be. She's retarded.
But yeah, but unfortunately,
Oh, my God.
that is what she is. What the personification of what men really want to be with.
No,
something
that's
like
not
that.
the truth.
Well,
That's very far from the truth. I think.
No, I mean, if you see her popularity, I mean, that's what it is. That most dudes want to be.
I think that she is pushed on us so much by these companies, and yes, she has a lot of money. But I truly don't think that that's what men want,
I feel like most men just only think that because she is a celebrity.
and it's
But
pushed.
if
on
she
them
was
so
the
much.
average girl walking down the street acting the way that
She's
I would
average.
even think Offset wants her, bro. Did you see the video of him taking shots and she's dancing? He looks at her. Bro, he's so unamused with her, bro.
Then again, though, music wise, Offset, I fuck with him,
Yeah.
but personality wise, he's kind of a piece of shit.
so it's kind of boring.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he's the only person that I know that could take a Bugatti, or no, it was a Rolls Royce, and make it look like a fucking Honda with the modifications.
Was he the one that got pulled over over? Was that Offset that got pulled
Yeah.
over? And then it was being a dick the entire time.
Yeah,
like,
and the
pulled
cop
over?
was being real cool with him, and he's just like, "Nah, y'all need to stop fucking with black folks." Like he
Yeah,
was just
I
like,
saw that
"Yo,
shit. I was like, what is wrong?
like you were
with
going
that
60 and a fucking 30." Like,
Right.
okay, sorry.
nigga?
Like,
Did
I'm
you get
just,
your wallet? No,
just doing my job. Sorry.
Excuse me.
Hey.
We're existing.
Didn't mean to ruin your fucking day, but you know.
But I think that she is the personification of what the average dude. I mean, there are different levels of dudes. What we want is probably different than what the average dude wants.
I'm sure the average is primarily Hispanics in America nowadays. I don't think they want Cardi B.
I don't think so either.
They want a woman that still cooks, cleans, and take care of the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually going to be
Well, let her
almost
tell her she
impossible
does
to
that for
find.
Offset. You know, she says in her song she does that. She does that for Offset.
Cardi B doesn't look like she showers properly. I wouldn't trust her cooking anything. For
She
me.
definitely looks like she stinks.
Wow.
I'm just saying. She probably smells.
No, I just
She's
said
from
that.
she's from New York.
She from New York.
From New York.
Nobody. They got more rats than human
She's a
beings.
New Yorker.
That's carrying pieces too.
Most people in New York probably smell worse than a rat.
But then again, you know, I got to say, I've heard a lot about New York. I've never been there personally, but I hear that that's like the only place where you could be famous and nobody gives a fuck. Like they'll leave you to be about yourself, you know, about your day.
I mean, shit. I can imagine they film like 75 movies there a year.
I hear nobody gives a fuck
You
there.
would think
Like,
the city of New York be in detrimental harm in
No.
35 seconds or even fucking movies.
that's
they
not
try to-
no. Yeah, from what I've heard, especially from like comedians and shit too,
Yeah.
people just won't bother you. Like it's just they'll let you go on about your day.
Yeah.
I'm
A
gonna
lot
New
of them
York-
might not know who you are
I'm
too.
gonna go to New York and ruin every celebrity that I see's day. Oh my God,
Oh
you're
my-
Adam
Can I get a picture?
Sandler.
Can I get a picture?
No.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying about her they're putting her on us, you know, because she's just
That's annoying.
now she's everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
it's like what the fuck, dude.
It's being
Hustlers,
pressed.
This new movie, it's like, dude, come on.
And you can only hear the words so much before you're just like, all right, this bitch is annoying.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the commercial songs I heard, I like them. They're not bad. They're okay. Yeah, but her album,
You know what's funny? Actually, for the longest, I thought that she was a tranny. And then I was like, damn, Offset's kind of gay. But I was like, that would make sense because a lot of niggas in Atlanta are actually down low as fuck.
But what do you mean by tranny?
Like, I
What does
thought
that
she
mean?
was already a man. And
Okay,
she
all right.
got,
So
like,
you're
her
talking
body
about like fully transition, like full on.
Well, I
tranny.
didn't until she had the baby. I didn't even think that she had a vagina.
But
yeah, City Star went full.
how do we know that she actually had the baby?
We went in the room, huh?
Conspiracy.
Right.
I don't know, man. They said Beyonce didn't have her own child, so.
I mean, then again, they could have also had a surrogate. Is that
Yeah.
what they call it?
I mean, but she was pregnant dancing on stage at like Coachella or some shit.
Somebody is doing it right now, having a surrogate. I think it's Kylie or Tim. Somebody's going to have somebody having one recently. I don't know who it was.
What? How does that even work? What is?
So basically,
involved in a
I
surrogate?
jack off in a cup. She gets her thing done.
That was a little
Sorry.
much, but okay.
Yeah, and then they put them together, and the chick, and then she carries it, and then they have it, and then
Interesting.
yeah.
Look,
So
if
it's
I'm
like
getting a surrogate, I'm hitting. So
Yeah, it won't be
No comment.
Eggs, it'll be the
you're gonna
chick
catch
with
this
eggs.
warm shit.
Yeah, it'll be
Oh,
the
okay.
DNA of you and the surrogate, not you and the girl.
Oh, that's the point, right?
Right, it's the DNA of you and the girl.
she's like the house.
She's just a house, right?
She's
She's
just
just
a
right.
building.
She's a hotel.
Yeah, she just
Yeah, it
holds.
was- she
She's
knows that.
basically she's where the baby resides essentially.
Right. 'Cause I was
So the
thinking about
mom
that too.
doesn't take the
Like,
fucking damage.
Whose kid is going to be? Me and her kid? Like,
But-
no, it's the house. Yeah, but Cardi.
Who's gonna take that L for somebody else's child? I don't.
25,000 usually they get for that
Wow.
Minimum.
minimum.
That's-
by the way.
Minimum.
Wow.
It
Okay.
depends. It's like if you're carrying Kendall Jenner's kid, you're probably getting more.
Ain't that some shit?
Oh,
Women's
yeah.
eggs are
I'm
worth
sure they're
hella
taxing.
a lot, but if we jerk up in the cup, we get like a $75 gift card to Target. Like, yeah, thanks for the beer, but
See, but I'm
but
sure
you
that-
know what's also crazy? When you go to jerk off in the cup, you got to be, for some of these places are like, how much money do you make a year? What is your family history?
Yeah,
Where
like,
did you go to college?
What was your grade point average?
Like, listen here. If I went to Harvard Law, there's no way I'm jerking off in a cup for $100.
Right.
This nut is worth good. Okay, I
It's
got dumb,
worth-
I
it's
got
worth
bitches in the
good.
club trying to be Mrs. fucking Lawyer Price. You feel me? And you want me to jerk off to a magazine
Right.
in a fucking cup?
Yeah,
I can't even
saw
aim
that.
on my fucking chest properly.
I saw that shit. I was on the website. I was like, I wonder how much that shit goes for. And I was like, they was like, yeah, after an extensive thing, then we'll tell you how much you're gonna get.
Okay, so anyways, enough with the
Tangent.
yeah. Okay, so what's next?
This is a hip hop podcast.
I know, right?
By the way,
Just so you know, yeah,
Cardi, you did this. That was on you.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of.
See what happens when Cardi B gets pushed to the masses, bro? She completely just like sidetracks the mind and makes you get off topic.
That's the government's way of making us all retarded.
Mind control, man.
Right.
That's why we're called the frequency
Conspiracy.
junkies, because we love sounds.
Popeye chicken sandwich.
Still haven't tried.
I think the best
It's
sound
okay.
is one of these cracking open. One of these bad boys.
You know, right?
Miller Lite.
Make a
you
beat
should
out of that.
Sponsor
What
us.
was the next one? The next one was Juice WRLD. Oh shit.
Oh yeah, the lawsuit.
I'll also. Yeah.
Yellow card. Go fuck yourselves. No one
listen
even
to it.
listens to you anymore. You're irrelevant.
We listened to it. It was
Now,
I
nice.
think Yellow Card got pushed away by Boys Likes Girls. That's just me, anyways.
Fair
If
point.
you guys remember,
Yeah,
Yellow Card was completely ass.
I was
I
around.
think they
for
were like
that.
in a Tony Hawk game or like a Dave Mirra BMX game, and that was one of the songs I always skipped.
But my thing is, the song that they are suing him for is called what? Hollywood what? Hollywood died. Okay. Although the flow sounds similar, I get it. They're reaching.
Yeah, the cadence is the same in certain parts of the song that Juice WRLD has, but I don't really think it's worth suing over.
What is the percentage they're even going after?
The rest.
The rest, 15%.
So they want basically him to like make no money off the song at all.
Which is crazy to me because if they can sue over that, then
Found Glory should sue over them.
producers
Wait, you said Newfound Glory should sue?
Should sue what's the group, the rock group that's suing them, because that shit sounds the
Yellow
same.
Card?
Yeah. it's
Oh, their
just-
music is so like yeah.
It sounds the same.
So then
Fucking
all
Newfound Glory.
producers then
Holy
all
shit.
producers from after like a certain time period should be able to get sued by the whatever producer first used the dun 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 dun. That's in like I can think of like
Every
30
fucking
trap
song.
songs where that specific
Specific.
piano melody
The Pacific.
has been it's the black in me has been like the main fucking melody.
Right.
And if that's the fucking case, then like
If we're suing people, over
eventually
shit like
we're
that,
gonna run out of so many ideas that making music is gonna be obsolete as fuck to even. It's gonna be pointless to even do.
Yeah, we were talking
we're gonna
about
evolve to the point where no one listens to music.
Right, we were talking about in Delete Gate before it got deleted. But we were talking about like things are gonna start to sound the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're running out of shit. You know, so you're gonna keep suing motherfuckers because it sound like the same shit. We're close.
That's
to
gonna end music. I mean, everything is inspired by something.
Yeah.
Whether it's music, whether it's something you hear in the real world, you know what I mean? Like it's all inspired from somewhere.
Yeah. So we were talking about we're actually gonna do a segment where we're gonna try to. I'm gonna try to make a beat because I've never did that.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, having somebody come on the show who's never made a beat in their life,
Try to make one.
come onto the show and try to make one.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a nice
We'll
little
give you a
segment.
sample, make it easy for you. Just come up with a drum loop first.
No, but we can't do that
No, I'm gonna start.
because then we'll catch the lawsuit.
You know, start from the beginning, try to figure it out. You know, so.
Yeah, that's very true.
Watching him work, you know, I was like, it was very intriguing. I was like, man,
It's not tough. It's not hard. I mean,
The
it
tough
just takes
part
a lot
is
of time.
figuring out
The shortcuts.
is exactly what to click, like, because you got all these fucking things. But like, if you just put a keyboard in front of you, we just hit record.
well, I'll have adult supervision. I hope. You know, I have some adult
Who's
We
adults
can't promise
here?
anything.
Only you.
It'd be adult
Well,
supervision.
what was the comment you made in the last one? My credit score is probably like what 100 points higher or some shit. That's fucked up.
Because he's light skinned.
That's fucked up.
It's a white man thing.
I'm used to him now.
You know what? Hey,
But yeah, so like we're gonna run out of music. You know, I like songs that have orchestras in it or rap songs.
but are we though?
So did you peep Rick Ross's latest album then,
No,
or any of Rick Ross's
It
albums?
was interesting.
I mean, you know, I've heard Rick Ross is Port of Miami.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you know what I'm saying? But-
Burning that shit to my Xbox 360 type days, bro. All I
Hey,
gotta say
for
is
real.
Rick Ross has always had such
Take me back.
live instrumentals. It's always refreshing to the ear because you hear fucking
It's actual real music. That's why.
yeah, you hear because it's fucking. What is
It's authentic instruments that are actually probably interpolated from a
Damn,
different
what's the
source.
Producer, bro, I can't think of his fucking name.
Which interpolation we described in the last video is an interpretation of a previously recorded sound, and it is taken and made into somebody's original sound.
we like-
Basically, it's a way to avoid having to get a sample cleared.
By stealing legally.
Yes,
Robin
it's-
Hood type shit.
Exactly. They may change the pitch or the tone of it.
This is where I'll edit like a ding. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
Ding, ding, ding.
But yeah, I grew up in the Port of Miami. You know, so
Push it to the limit.
of course. You know what I'm saying? So, and that one song you have a Django,
Django.
100 Black Coffins. It's just-
Oh, okay.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's actually a good song. Yeah,
Yeah.
the beat was actually like, yeah, the beat's dope as
You gotta
fuck.
hear it. It's pretty good.
That was actually the only thing I liked about it. I remember the conversation me and you had about that when you played it. This is when I was still riding with you at work,
Right.
and you had played the song, and I heard it, and I was like, man, this beat goes hard, but his fucking lyrics are whack. Like, it wasn't terrible. No, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a huge Rick Ross fan, even though he might be a phony.
For the
Django movie.
Well, I think it was
Yeah.
like a rapper, like a feature.
No, it was Rick Ross.
Rick Ross made a song 100 Black Coffins for Django.
And it was in that movie.
It was in that movie, yeah.
It was
in
actually solid, bro.
Yeah, it's not bad. But, then now to Rick Ross now, and I'm glad we talked about Rick Ross. Tangent. So, him being a correctional officer, we're over that with the whole him being a correctional officer and all that shit?
Lucky nigga. You better listen to your boss, white boy. Oh, I'm over walking.
You're going to get flagged.
So what? We're going to get flagged regardless.
That song was so fucking loud.
It is. But the beat,
Never heard it.
the beat's wrong.
But
Like him being a correctional officer and shit like that, and then...
Was he really, though?
Yeah,
Is that facts?
Yeah,
that's-
okay.
that's- fact check, bro.
So,
All right.
and then, you have, like, we're talking about, like, how Drake apparently doesn't write his own records or songs, I should
Yeah.
say. He has a ghostwriter like that.
Drake killed XXXTentacion, by the way.
Maybe.
Here we go. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we're very forgiving
And
now.
then rapped about it.
Of certain things.
I mean, what did Eazy-E say back in the day?
Like, I think
Rap is just an entertainment. Doesn't always have to
He
be.
also said he was cruising on the street in his 6'4".
He also died of AIDS.
Yeah.
I think we owe Vanilla Ice an apology because we kind of like fucked him up.
Vanilla Ice?
Yeah, I think we owe an apology because like he was like the most fakest fucking rapper back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to, not shout out. Why would I even say that? Smack me in my fucking mouth. But that's just like Lil Tecca rapping about riding around with niggas with guns, riding around in a Bentley, doesn't even know how to fucking drive.
Right. We had the whole.
Well, how old is he?
Got Vance conversation.
Was he 16?
Fucking 16-year-old. I mean, you see my status, bro. If you listen to Lil Tecca, everything about you is cap.
Yes.
And you can say, well, all rappers be capping. Yeah, but there's some truth in a lot of these rapper songs. You know, rather it just be like the Migos rapping about having a Balenciaga shoes. Okay, that's more truth than him saying I'm riding around in a Bentley with motherfuckers with guns. You don't know how to drive.
But
you don't have the license.
Is it his appearance though? Like I feel like with rap these days, like the uglier you are, the more people are prone to listen to you. Like I'm not one to comment on like on another man's looks. Like whatever, you look how you look. Like that, you were born like that. I can't. But like, he has a lazy eye.
As he says this,
He
I
has
feel
a-
fucking attacked.
Because I'm talking to you. I'm not talking at you. But like he has like that lazy eye situation going on, And it's like, is it because
fucked?
yeah? Is it because like he looks a certain way that he's able to attract certain fans?
No,
I think
No.
maybe. I think maybe.
because what are they called after millennials?
Generation X or some shit.
Generation fag.
Hey, no comment.
They deserve to all get smoked because they're fucking idiots.
I mean, what I'm saying is like,
Listen,
They will accept. No, but the point of what I'm saying is they accept dumb shit. To be honest, I mean, they always say whatever
Yeah,
the
I
kids
guess so.
like is what's gonna get popular.
yeah,
But
you need a pop
I don't
filter.
think they really care about what is in the music. It's just as long as it sounds good, as long as they can kind of turn up to it, then they're just
Yeah.
gonna rock with
They
it.
don't give a fuck what they're saying as long
Which,
as
I
the
mean,
production's on point.
I'm sure us three right here can we all have a playlist where it's like, yeah, this holds no value, no substance, but it's still
I'll
fucking
turn up
fire.
to it. Yeah.
But we also have a different ear instead of a 16-year-old kid just trying to turn up to anything that fucking has an 808 and a clap.
Yeah, because they're full of emotions and shit.
They also don't have minds of their own.
Oh yeah, we won't
Bad
even go there. Baby, it's
I don't
baby.
know why I think it's Barbie.
Yeah, it the way it's spelled, but because it could be either taken
So
as bad
2008
baby
MySpace days.
or it could be taken as bad Bobby because like the way it's spelled. Bobby.
he had that conversation
Bad
about
Bobby.
he can't stand it. You know?
Okay, yeah. Basically, I don't think she's terrible. She might.
Wait, let me say something first. I forgot to say it for the last recording, bro. I'm not gonna say who, but you're probably listening, and I told you to your face. You're fucking weird. I know someone who is like obsessed with her as an attractive way.
That's sus.
Has sent me multiple Snapchats
Oh, no.
on some like, bro, she's so fine. I'd fuck
And
the
how-
shit
how
out
old
of
is
her.
she?
And I'd be like, bro, she's like 16. He's
She's
like,
16,
If
okay.
she's 16, I'm 16. I don't give a fuck.
Oh no.
Okay, the joke is funny when it's like you're really actually joking.
Right,
but when you're obsessively
No. Hold up. No.
About
Let's
this?
backtrack. Let's backtrack. No. Whether you're joking or not, that's a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say I would say if she's 18, I'm 18, just
Okay,
because.
I get that, but that's
now,
the
yeah.
legal age though.
16
Like,
is weird.
but that's
Legal in this
weird.
state is 17, just so you know.
Okay, but that's still weird. What the
Consent
fuck do
within
I have
5
in
years
common?
of the other person?
Even though I'm happily in a relationship, I will make that known.
But
But what do I have in common with a 17-year-old
Not a
girl?
damn thing.
I'm almost 24 years old, and I still feel like that's a small gap, right? But I would have nothing to talk about to a 17-year-old girl. What am I gonna relate to you
I
about?
think the only
Truly,
okay, I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this, but the only way the phrase "if she's 16, I'm 16" is kind of acceptable is if you didn't even know what her age was at all.
yeah.
And
I
then
guess
someone
if you
tells
were,
you, hey, you know she's 16, like as a joke. Well, she's 16, I'm 16. But if she comes out and
And she
we've known
says,
this chick
"Hey,
since
I'm
she was like
16."
what 13 years old,
14 years old, you're 13 years
we all know she's underage. Because I mean, there's sometimes you're walking downtown or whatever, you see somebody who like
old. What hold you?
17 or 34.
if we're speaking on if we're speaking on this, her music is not awful, but there is some credibility to the fact that I think that she may write her own lyrics,
Yeah, I mean, I like her cadence. She for somebody who can't rap, because I mean,
and the production is not bad.
yeah, she can't.
But I just wouldn't listen to it though. I wouldn't sit and be like, yeah, I just want to throw on some Bad Baby.
No, I mean, if it's my shit's on shuffle, so if it comes on.
But the fact that it even pops up in your
I
playlist
know
is like,
if
all right,
I'm
it's a
ever in
little
your
sus.
car and she pops up, I hope you know I'm hitting skip.
hey,
It's sus.
It's not her whole catalog. It's like maybe one. Or
The
two
fact,
or
okay,
something.
but she's in your playlist.
But the
It's a
song
little sus.
the song she did with Kodak Black is not bad. It's okay. You know what I'm saying?
How about the fact that
She's not writing her own music.
are we not gonna address the fact that she has Young Boy's name tattooed on her hand?
Yeah, bro. What the
That's a little sus too.
Well, she said they're just friends.
She said, yeah, but that's still sus.
Wait, this is kind of funny.
I don't know my friend's
She has
names
Trinidad
tattooed on me.
James as writing credits on one of her songs.
What song?
Hi, bitch.
Never heard of it.
That's one of the first older. that's
Why,
one of the
Jay?
first ones.
See,
White
the
Porsche,
fact that you know it is
right
kinda
whiz.
concerning, just
First
a
of all,
little
it's
bit.
called Wikipedia, and I looked things up.
Okay.
Well, I mean, because I was talking to you about it yesterday, and I was like, she has a gold and a platinum single, and I was like, holy shit.
Where'd
I didn't
that
know
come
she-
from?
Platinum.
Yeah, she's a platinum. singer.
her on the radio at all.
Look it up. She got a platinum. One of her songs
What's
is
that
platinum.
song? I need to know what the song is called. I want to listen to it right
I think
now.
it's Bestie, because she had a song with Troy Lane.
What's it called?
Bestie. I think it is. But she had a song with
Okay.
what's his name? Troy Lanez? Is that his name?
Okay.
Troy Lanez. Yeah, she had a song with him.
He's not awful.
No,
I think
and,
he's
and she's that's what I'm
got a
saying.
couple bangers.
That's what I'm saying.
Couple.
Lane's is fucking fire,
Yeah,
bro.
Troy Lanez pretty good.
Not.
R&B wise,
I think he tries to compensate for the fact that he's short.
Greg, I think you guys are the same height.
Yeah, but he looks short though. You know, like I feel like he's really trying to compensate for something.
Well, the only reason why I brought it up because I think she's getting undue hate from certain people only because of the personality she had.
I want to know what his
now.
height is now.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want to point out the fact that it's not terrible, Greg.
I never said it was.
It's not like Lil Tecca Blueface terrible,
Exactly. Which, by the way,
but
is trash.
it's not gonna get played in my car.
Right? It's not Vanilla Ice
Tory
terrible.
Lanez.
You know what I'm saying? So
Even though he got platinum.
I think we want him holiday. We kind of pushed him out for the
Yeah, actually, I'm taller than Tory Lanez.
right?
Just putting that
About
out
an
there.
inch and a quarter.
By 2 inches.
Did you really just look that up?
I did. I was curious.
Hey, he was feeling some type of way. Talking
I
about.
was curious.
Nah, I got some shit to make up for.
So
No, I
just
really
wanted to
don't.
Put that out, PSA.
Yeah, I don't think she's terrible. I think that she may, not entirely, but I think often write her own lyrics. I think that she works with really good producers, but
Ronnie
at
J.
no point would I ever think to just be like, hey, I'm gonna listen to some Bad Baby. I'm a grown man. I don't relate to what she's talking
She's
about.
an industry plug. Because I mean,
She's a
when
what?
you- An industry plug. Like she's just somebody.
Oh, like
that
an
just
industry
put out
plant?
there- Yeah, a plant. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? That she just put out there. I'm like, who the hell is this? They're like, the Catch Me Outside girl chick. Like,
Yeah, and when you're known as that,
Right.
it's like it's hard for me to be like, yeah, like she's really talented, like very artistically inclined. Like you're known for saying "Catch Me Outside." How about that?
Even if we are doing album reviews, which the goal is to do on at least once a week, because sometimes a lot of underground shit drops, and
Yeah, very
sonically,
randomly.
I can't really fuck with a lot of different types of music. But even if she was to drop and nothing else has dropped,
I probably still.
I'm
wouldn't
still
review
not
it.
listening to it.
Yeah.
So Malachi, you can come in here and spit your piece, and I'm gonna tell you to shut up after 2 minutes. You
I
say-
probably will, too.
We're just gonna say give it a rating
that's fine.
out of 10.
I'm gonna have to say the same thing.
Yeah, okay. Leave the room, please.
Yeah, we will no longer be having Malachi on the podcast. FYI.
I'm giving somebody credit for it. Like I said,
You know what, but
the production.
I'm not taking away credit from her. I'm just saying I wouldn't listen to it personally,
Nah, that's fine.
and I'm not even gonna go out of my way to even try to.
Nah, I don't. If it comes across my board, then I listen to it, and then
Yeah, I
we
get
move
you.
it over to the
I get
side.
you. I mean, like for
recorded
example,
it sounds decent.
I have this app. I forgot what it's called. But basically, I think it's weird. Mike put me onto it.
Okay.
Long story short,
Kyle.
no, not Kyle.
Shout out Kyle.
Yeah, shout out. He needs a Monster sponsorship, by the way, and possibly what's
Home
a company
Depot
that makes
sponsorship.
who makes drywall?
Home Depot.
Drywall.
Yeah, there might be some companies specifically.
Owens Corning. I don't know.
There you go. Hey,
Wait, if any of you guys know off the top of your head who makes a drywall company, you probably drink too much Monster.
And please let us know, because if he can get a sponsorship by them, I promise you, if this podcast gets listeners, it will be.
And if he listens this far ahead, he's trying to fight us tonight.
It might. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he likes fighting. We love you.
Understatement.
Yes, exactly.
Overstatement.
Very much. At the same time, yeah.
So what was the episodes we were reviewing this week?
Jesus is King. Is that what it is?
King by Kanye. I haven't heard it because I just found out about it.
Very
Sounded
gospel-y.
okay.
This is why I write the topics and have them written down on my phone, because you guys just jumped ahead
Did we?
a good 20 minutes. We forgot
Okay.
fake drug abuse and use.
We can get to that. We got to talk about Jesus first.
Oh, yeah, let's switch it up. All right, let's do
Yeah,
something
talk about-
refreshing.
Yes.
So, Jesus Walks himself has dropped an
His-
album today called Jesus
Oh.
is King.
Okay.
By the way, on not Halloween, Jesus Christ. On Christmas, he's supposed to drop another album, gospel album.
Okay.
Not called
Interesting.
Jesus is King, called like
I don't think
Jesus
that his
is-
album was necessarily even fully a gospel album.
gospel inspired instrumentals
Yeah.
with a
I thought it would
Yeezus
be
Kanye West rap style
Yeah.
fucking cadence.
I thought it would be a little more like gospel inclined.
I thought it'd be like, I've been to church plenty of times, especially black churches. I thought it would be like that speaking in tongue shit. You know, you're stomping on your feet.
Yeah, praise the Lord. Yeah, exactly.
Holy! No, it was just like, here's Kanye spitting about
Putting your
bleaching.
palm on people's foreheads and
bleaching
pushing it back, and they
assholes
do like
and
a
shit.
trust
The
fall type
majority of
shit.
it, like about Jesus and religion, or is it just it's just nuances?
I think once the choir hits, it's like, hey, there's Jesus. But when the
Yeah.
choir doesn't hit, it's like, hey, that's Kanye.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have to take a look. I mean, the last Kanye I heard was the Yeezus album. I think it was.
So you didn't hear the I'm bipolar thing?
No.
That was
That was confusing.
Oh wow.
terrible.
See, I
Yeah,
see
it was
about
confusing. I think he
Yeah.
was talking about at one point, like talking about wanting to kill people.
that. Oh.
I felt that.
Yeah,
Don't we all just want the purge to happen?
sometimes.
Is that just me?
Sometimes. There was one song specifically that stuck out to me. It was Closed on Sunday. I feel like the context of the lyrics didn't match the depth of the melody and the beat itself. I feel like he could have had way better lyrics written for that song. I think it sounded rushed to me, but the beat itself was fire. The strings, the guitar, I think it was an acoustic guitar
I just find it
and
funny
a choir.
that Kanye told everybody that worked on the album, please refrain from having premarital sex.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. That just came out yesterday as a fact.
I'm pretty
or
sure he
today.
probably engaged in it though at some point.
He's married though.
I know, but
But
he,
while they were working on the album,
oh, okay.
please refrain from having premarital sex, which is
I
kind
don't
of
understand
funny
what
just
difference it
because like, how are you smelling her dick or something? Like, how do you know?
Yeah,
No,
well,
I mean,
I think that
honor
it's more of like a
system.
trust thing.
Yeah, honor system.
Like Kanye West is trusting people way too much. I'm not trusting Pierborn to even like walk through my studio without like a lot of weed, let alone not fucking somebody.
I had to tell him I would have had some sex before I came out.
But-
with the album.
My thing is,
I would have flew to Miami. Talk about I just got some dome on a plane, nigga. What we doing? Leave, sir. This is a holy place.
this is a holy studio.
I think your ass got retarded.
Yeah, I think he's
But
trying to work.
overall, the album wasn't terrible. I think the production was very reminiscent of his old work. Oh, nice. I think
Should put the mic closer.
That's what Bad Baby sounds like.
yeah, it's on this, really close,
Double
really
on
close.
the road.
I think the album itself was very reminiscent of his old stuff, though.
Mind you, I was
What?
one of the couple thousand people in the world that have heard it first.
Yes. Apparently, he cried.
Yeah,
Did you cry? Did you cry?
Bro, I definitely cried. You can ask my girl, bro. Like, I was in full-blown tears, bro, whispering in her ear that this is the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard in my entire life.
There you go.
Um,
there it is.
Jesus is King, Chicago exclusive fucking merch, bro.
I'm praising.
I'm scared to even wash it because it's so.
Don't watch it.
Mine. By the way, this thing is selling for like 600, 500 online. So if you want to buy it, it's 450.
I think he really meant 500.
I really think that I'm never gonna sell this, and eventually it's gonna be a collector's item.
No,
where,
he's
like,
capping. Like 500.
Oh,
for
you know
sure.
what? I encased the shirt I had signed by University of Kentucky coach John Calipari. So they have like little glass things you can put that in there.
like a humidifier in there to like keep it crisp.
What the hell? No, like a little glass
No,
thing.
but I did hear the album about a month and a half ago, maybe month. It was dope because me not being a modern Kanye West fan, it was very refreshing to hear.
I agree.
And I mean, you go in, you expected a gospel album, but I expected like I said, I went to church a lot. Actually, grew up in a church.
Same here.
I expected like a really different vibe throughout the thing. I honestly didn't even expect him to actually rap anything. I expected him to just be kind of like an orchestra. What do you call it? What do you call it?
I figured it'd be an instrumental.
Yeah, conductor.
I expect him to be like a conductor of just instruments and choir and like maybe some lyrics he's wrote. But like
I feel like
them
that definitely
singing
threw
it.
me off too.
But there's like one song at the very end. I think it's actually the one with Pusha T. One of the ones with Pusha T. If it's not that one, it's the very end. That's the one of the songs where like at the end, bro, I was like hugging my girlfriend and I was like in fucking full blown tears.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't expect it to be this powerful and like I was drunk and high too.
That's the thing though. Like I feel like live
Live
just being in
anything
an
is
environment where
honestly
everybody's
better.
vibing out to music and stuff, and I feel like I don't want to get like spiritual and shit, but like I feel like people kind of like like emit energy in a certain manner when they're like in a live performance, and I think that that'll definitely change like and have an impact of like how you receive music yourself.
I haven't been to many live shows lately. I think the last live show I've been to was Summer Jam 6 like years ago. But yeah, I mean,
New York.
what else here?
That's WGCI,
Oh, Big Jam, whatever it is, yeah. And yeah, like if it's the same old Jesus Walks Kanye, then I'm pretty sure I probably enjoy it.
It's
Like, I go to a lot of live shows, so I understand what you mean of the whole energy thing.
But also, it could be just like having somebody perform something live in front
But
of you.
I will say this though, it wasn't anything of performing. It wasn't live anything. It was just him on a fucking Mac pressing play.
Really?
Yeah, like honestly, for the most part, we were all looking this way, and I didn't see him. But my brother, like, like I said, you're supposed to, like, you walked in, you had your phone like in a case, you couldn't open it. But my brother like snuck his phone in, like they didn't really check you that hard, but he like snuck it in. He was recording. Kanye was probably like 15 feet in front of him, just on a Mac, But it still felt like maybe it was the ambiance of the sound system and the acoustics.
Yeah, and I'm sure he
of
really had a
everything.
huge say so in that too. Like
But it
he's-
was just like magical
Nice.
as fuck. And then at the end, he played like a preview of his IMAX movie, kind of just like yeah, it's in theaters right now actually at the IMAX. Yeah, it's at the Quarry over here in Countryside.
Really?
Yeah, $20, whatever.
Oh, interesting.
But
didn't know
I'll
that.
probably just watch it on Fire Stick.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Comcast.
Yeah. Fuck y'all.
But he showed a preview of it, and it kind of showed like them in Wyoming and like kind of like the small process of it from what I've seen.
Kerwin Frost actually had a video too where he was there, and I don't know if a lot of it was acting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
though.
He kind of does like interviews and like stupid little videos where like he'll go places and kind of act like out of place. And he actually had a thing at Kanye West's album release party, I think it was, for his last album. Pretty funny.
The Life of Pablo. But he
I
had
think
like,
it was Life
but
of
he flew
Pablo.
like a lot of people out though. He
he
flew,
flew
he
a
flew
lot. Yeah, it
like
was a-
Adam 22 out. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
flew a lot of
yeah, it was the
people
same
out.
thing. Yeah, it's the
Right,
same
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Did he do that for this album too? This gospel?
No,
album?
Probably
It
not.
was just if you're invited to Wyoming because he just bought like a house up there, like you were there to work only on the album.
Yeah.
Which is it's weird because I'm looking at the production credits. A lot of the names I didn't recognize.
Which is actually
Which
very
is good.
refreshing. Yeah.
Good, but there's some of these names on there. Some guy named Moogs the Beast.
I've heard of him.
I've heard of his name, but I don't really know anything from off the top of my head. And then you have like Pierre Bourne, which I
was
hope he uses
surprised.
that tag of like the choir saying, "Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?" Because that sounded really cool.
I was shocked.
But it's just you hear some of the production and you look at the names, especially someone that everything that I listen to, 99% of the time I know who produced it because I'm fucking Like I said in the last podcast, I'm nosy as fuck, but I'm also a producer, so I want to
I'm
know
on top of
anyways,
that
you
shit
know?
too. Who produced what?
So listening to it, I'm like, really? Pierre Bourne on this? Like, what did you do? The
That was
drums aren't
strange.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
The ARP
drums.
in that song On God sounds like damn, I can't think of it right now.
And it was
But it's
very-
an old Kanye, like
Yeah.
like super old Kanye, like the song he did with like Elton John or something like that, and fucking Rihanna and shit. It sounded like that ARP in that song. And it's like, bro, I know Mike Dean played that. Like,
Yeah.
you did not play that shit.
Exactly.
So what did you really do? Because it's a
What
ARP,
was your,
it's drums and a choir.
Maybe it was the drums.
The drums just didn't sound Pierre Bourne.
It doesn't have to though.
No, like
I mean, there's songs.
Yeah, I know-
There's
I know
songs
what
that
you
I have
mean, but,
made
like,
where it doesn't sound like me.
usually every producer, being a producer, you kind of just you hear something,
had
you're
that
like, yeah, they
sound.
did that,
Yeah.
you know. But it was cool seeing that versatility of Pierre Bourne on, you know, actually 2 songs are there, and you're just like, damn.
I agree. He was on 2 songs.
Yeah, he's on 2 actually.
Okay.
I only know On God.
Maybe that's why I didn't hear the tag you're referring to because I only
It's
heard
in the
one
beginning of
song.
On God. I'll play it right quick.
Okay, I heard the other one.
So to the viewers and listeners, you're basically saying you endorse this album very much.
I would say
Okay,
so.
I would say this as a non-Kanye's fan, as a non-fucking hype beast, as someone who is unbiased.
Okay.
The album is fucking great. Listen to it,
Oh, I will.
you know, and even if you don't like it, then you don't fucking like it.
And as somebody who is not
Because honestly,
necessarily
majority of the time, if you know who I am, majority of the time I only listen to trap or very sad music or R&B only.
Yep.
So this was very refreshing. But I also just like anything that Kanye West is like one of those people. Kanye, Jay-Z, Drake, Lil Wayne, Future. There's just certain people that no matter how off the wall, they may roll out a couple singles. Like this single, they might drop and be like, that's not for me. You're still going to listen to the fucking album. You know what I'm saying? Because you just want to be like, yo, I want to see what they're going to do.
But
you know?
I feel like their goal is not necessarily to make like a hit where it's very for the moment. I think that they're looking to make like timeless music, and maybe that's why
the trends.
Yeah, maybe that's why like right now we might not be 100% feeling it, but it's still good. But we're not feeling it 100%. But maybe next year or a couple years down the line, we'll look back at it and be like, damn, that actually.
think
was
about
pretty
it.
good.
Magna Carta, Holy Grail,
Yep.
didn't really resonate as like a Jay-Z album.
Exactly.
But the production, Wonder Girl, probably Mike Dean too, actually. The engineering, a lot of the sounds used was actually used in Yeezus, The Life of Pablo, Travis Scott.
Yeah.
A lot of that shit came into the new wave. So I see like setting a trend.
Yeah.
Future kind of set a trend
Changed
a
things.
while ago with being an openly, besides Lil Wayne, but being an openly drug user. That's just.
Even though he capped about it in an interview.
But here's a tag that he dropped. That's a tag.
Okay.
It's very slim.
It's very
But
subtle.
you know what's crazy though? That's how I know. Remember I told you once before, bro. We are a blessing to our females, to our girlfriends in general. Well, not in general.
I like to think that it goes both ways.
No, but I'm saying.
But I get what
with the
you mean.
music though. With the music.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
with the-
you
with
ain't
the
gonna be a
music.
soft ass nigga. But with the music though, because I showed her that fucking tag. I showed her that song. I'm like, yo, whose tag is that? She goes, play it again. She goes, play it one more time. She goes, oh, that's Pierre. I was like, what? I'm laying in bed. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, I had to listen and then look it up. I'm like, bro, you fucking serious? She's like, yeah, that's Pierre. She's like, that's clear as day. I was like, bro, I love you even more than I did 2 minutes ago, because you know what I'm saying. Like, a lot of females don't interpret music
Or
that
won't
in
pay
depth.
attention to it.
And if
like
they
that.
do, then they probably work for like Complex or XXL or like Rap Genius
and
if
have
they-
a job in rap.
And if they do, they're probably dykes
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, fair point, I guess.
or Angela Yee.
Most. You know what?
She's the industry bust
With
down, by the way.
and Gucci made it known, and she's big mad, and that's
Oh,
why.
hey, you know this.
Did you hear Gucci's interview with Charlamagne?
No, I can't stand Charlamagne at all.
Okay, I don't like him either. I think he's a racist.
You gotta watch. I did see that. You still gotta watch it.
I think that Charlamagne hates white people, but I won't. That's neither
I think
here nor there.
Charlamagne has Botox in his face, by the way.
Yes,
Duh.
dick in the booty ass dude. But
Finger in the booty.
fair enough. The interview that he did, I only watched it because I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear Gucci's side of things because you don't really hear a lot from him these days because like he's busy putting music
He's
out.
clone.
Yeah, I heard that too.
He actually said that he wants people to keep that going too, but that kind of died down. But
My thing was always like, bro, how stupid can you be to think that Gucci Man was important enough to ever get cloned?
you know what? He actually had a huge underground following, which is strange because like I always wondered like why
Why is
it
it
that
old Jewish white people clone Gucci Man?
But I always wondered, like, why is it that everybody knows Gucci, but he never really had any chart presence? And that's because he's always releasing mixtapes. He never was like,
He had a hell of a fan base.
yeah.
But think about when he came.
It was all underground,
Think
though. And it
about,
was
like-
none of it was on paper.
Think about like his prime though. Dude was dropping a mixtape every fucking month.
Exactly. And he's still dropping albums. Like, dude, he dropped how many albums this year?
I think right now he's maybe at like 20 mixtapes and 13 or 15 studio albums.
Dude, and how many of those albums were like within the past 2-3 years? Because he got out of jail what
I
year?
don't keep up with him anymore.
Okay, he just put an album
There's a
out
couple of
recently.
them, I think it's like about two or three.
He just put an album out like this past Friday.
Burr October or some shit, right?
Yeah, number 2
Burtober?
or some shit.
October.
You like Gucci?
Oh yeah, especially dude. Gucci's a product of my Jeezy days. You know what I'm saying? So,
prefer more?
Okay, so since since he got out of jail, I think it was 2016. This dude put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You can do
6,
my playlist.
7 projects in 2016.
Damn.
Three of which were actually after he was out of jail or out of prison.
2 of which I think were actually studio albums,
Yeah.
if I'm not
So,
mistaken.
Dude, but he's put consistent albums out. I mean, and they were all actually good
I think,
albums.
I think Woptober 2 is a mixtape. Mr. Davis is an album.
But regardless, he's putting
No,
good,
but I'm just
he's
saying,
putting,
like-
he's putting good projects
yeah.
out
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
are
ask you,
actually
like,
solid.
Are they quantity or
I wouldn't say all of them are solid though.
No, I would say that there's definitely good songs on every single album. At least one good song.
quality than quantity.
Which these days that's hard to find.
I do know there was one where it was very terrible.
That was probably either the newer one or maybe Woptober.
Yeah. So don't forget my musical prowess, especially like he was like Jeezy or Gucci. It's Jeezy all day because Jeezy is pretty much on my playlist really hard.
I fuck with Jeezy too. His latest album, what was it?
Is it coming with Thug TN 104? I think.
Yeah, and there was like 3 songs on there. I was like, all right, this is like old Jeezy. All of it, even the album cover looked like some shit that would be like
let's
old
do it.
Jeezy.
Yeah, it was great.
It was very busy.
It was great.
honestly, so.
And he actually had a Lex Luger beat on there. That threw me off. I sent that to you.
I mean, I heard the whole album when it dropped.
Oh, getting down to the last 2.
Yep.
What was the other album that we were doing? Lucky.
Yeah, but none of you guys peeped it, so we'll wait.
Yeah, we'll save that for the next
Also,
podcast.
check out Kembe. He's from Chicago too. He's part of he used to be part of Village, which was Sauk Village. That's where he's from. Him and Alex Wiley both moved to L.A. I told you I'm fucking nosy, bro.
Right, I know this.
Yeah, they moved to L.A.
Right.
Kembe is the unofficial member of TDE, by the way.
Okay, I know who that is.
He was shown with the chain, the TDE chain, and also he's managed by somebody in TDE, one of the managers or whatever.
We lost that in the other podcast. Deleted the whole Country Club Hills Juice WRLD thing.
Yeah, but but Kembe X, he's good, man. I fucks
Basically,
with him.
we talked about in the last
album-
rendition of this podcast where we lost it.
Or Juice WRLD.
Let's get past the whole saying you're from Chicago when you're really from like Summit or Burbank. Okay, that's close enough.
Right.
If you're from fucking Aurora,
University Park.
You're like 45 minutes
yeah,
away.
that's a little
By
far.
the time you see one of the ops lacking, they're gonna be gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to travel an hour to go see your ops. It's like
to
all
pay
right,
a toll.
You live in the
Start
burbs.
naming places Glenwood.
Okay, yeah. we were saying like and then like there's places like Richton
Palatine.
Park and like
Joliet.
Chicago Heights and stuff. Where
Wait a minute, the
okay,
Heights is kind of rugged though.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like if you say you're from Chicago and you live in those areas, all right, those are pretty tough.
Right.
But if you live in Naperville, that's a 45-minute drive, depending on where in the city you're at. Evanston. Ugh.
Like there's old Jewish money.
But
in
even
Evanston.
Evanston, if you
right,
say you're
it's
from
like-
Chicago and you live in Evanston, it's
Evanston's
like,
like
all right.
that. Evanston's the end of Lakeshore, isn't it? Or is that
Yeah.
Skokie?
I wouldn't even be totally mad. But if you're in
Still
fucking
have some
Wilmette,
kind of influence.
You wouldn't be totally mad if they said they came from Evanston, was acting hard on a rap album.
no, that's a different story. No, I'm saying if you live in Evanston and you're claiming to be from Chicago, don't act tough, but you can claim you're from Chicago in a way.
Guess. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I'm not going to be totally mad at that.
I'm gonna be kind of an asshole because that's who I am, and I don't really have a filter.
We know this.
I'm not going to drop names, but there is a good collective of people that live in Midway, Clear Ridge, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that went to Kennedy.
Garfield Ridge, actually.
Fucking white as
Clary.
fuck, Polish as fuck. That try to act as if they are from Inglewood or Little Village.
Tri-state next to.
And I understand that you're like in the city, but like, bro, you go home to a good fucking neighborhood with grass on your lawn and a parent that actually cares about you. Stop trying to fucking be one of these people, bro, because when it comes down to it,
You're not.
you're not. 9 out of 10, you're going to fucking fold.
Know your mailman's first name and shit. Like
10 out of 10, you hear more planes go over your house than you ever have heard gun bullets go past your fucking
Never
head.
learned my mailman's fucking first day. I don't even know who the fuck. It's always a
I don't even
different
see my mailman, bro.
Yeah, me either. I don't.
Nigga's fucking, he's like Santa Claus. Next you know, there's mail in my mailbox.
Right. I know my UPS driver though, because he was.
That's the closest thing to magic for me is the fucking mail. I never see my mailman ever in my
Never seen your
life.
mailman?
I haven't seen the mailman since I was in
At my
fucking
old building
grammar
in
school.
Bronzeville, I did, but that's because at 2 o'clock when I would leave to go to work, she would be right there.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was kind of weird though, because if I had a package, she would call me. And one time I was like, how'd you get my number? And I guess it was in the directory of like,
cool.
because it was a big, you know, it was Lake Meadows, so you already know. So I'm sure she got like a list of,
Name drop. Lake Meadows. I remember that fucking guy.
Ooh.
yeah.
Lake
It
Meadows.
was my
So-
first like apartment by myself. But
As far as saying you're from Chicago, if you live in the outskirts of the city, or even a little past that, okay, that's fine. We get it. But if you live, you know, if you got a half an hour drive to get to where you live, and you say you're from Chicago, you're not from Chicago. We
Yeah,
get
you're
it.
not. Just cut it out.
But yeah, we had to get that's just had to get out of the way.
This has been a public service announcement.
Yes.
public service announcement to all white people and some of the black community. You may be a GD from Richmond Park, but you are not a GD from
In Chicago.
the Chicagoland area.
And that's another thing too. Like you go to these outskirts, you take the culture with you. You go out there, and you're in Richmond Park and University Park and all the other places and shit. And like, yeah, I'm still GD. Like, are you?
The question is, why don't you just move back then?
Yeah, if
Are you
that's
still
the point,
plugged? You know
and you
what I'm
really care so much about that,
Right.
why don't you just go back to it?
Are you still plugged in? Really? Are you still going to the rallies?
But okay, anyways, but that's all besides the point. Just don't say you're from Chicago if you have to drive a half an hour, 35 minutes to get to the city.
True. Done.
I
Anyways,
guess it would make sense if you're like in an interview.
it's easier to say
and
Chicago
it's
than
easier
to
to
say,
say
okay, I
Chicago
live
than
in
this.
fucking Naperville. Because
But-
somebody in California is going to be like, where the fuck is Naperville?
Don't forget where you came from.
Exactly.
You still have people come cut your grass because it's fucking beautiful.
Still in that guy.
Your hedges look great, by the way.
Yeah, that
You have a driveway.
the Mexican man who
Green,
cut your
green,
lawn
green,
did a great job. Shout out to him.
Shout out to what?
Shout out to him.
Who?
The Mexican man who cuts their lawn.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican. And even if I wasn't, I
Hey,
could say that.
hold on. I know this is off topic as fuck, bro.
What? Oh.
But we were downtown one day.
Yeah.
Me,
Oh,
him,
yes.
my brother,
This is a really good topic.
both my
actually.
brothers.
Okay.
One
Very
is
interesting.
black. He's basically black, white, and Chinese like me. And the other one is black, Chinese, and Guatemalan.
Okay.
One of my boys who's Mexican and white.
Yeah.
He's Puerto Rican and Mexican. You're white too, right?
Yeah. Irish,
Okay.
Polish, Puerto
Another,
Rican,
the
Mexican.
only kid there was one white dude.
Okay.
Another
Mike.
one of our friends who was pure Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike.
We're chilling, about to watch the fireworks. You know, we're all drunk. You know, yada yada yada. It's summertime,
Shout out to you, Kyle.
right?
You might have told me the story, but go ahead.
And
I did.
this girl was sitting in front of us. Didn't even know who the fuck said the word nigga.
Random fucking
Turned
person.
around, bro,
did the story.
and started getting all fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Not only am I drunk, but I also am very. These are one of those conversations where, like, I'm gonna defend the fact of the usage of the word,
Of course.
right? Obviously, you know,
If words hurt your
there's
feelings, you're a
limits.
weak person.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But first of all, mind your fucking business,
Yeah, we weren't
Okay.
even talking to you.
bro. Like, it got heated to the point where, like, my brother put me in a fucking chokehold before I even got into this bitch's face, bro.
And she
I
was actually,
threw food at her, bro, because she turned around and said, "None of y'all can say it."
And said that none
Look
of us
at
were from
me.
the city, too.
All of us, my brother, none of y'all can say it.
Yeah.
You should be checking your friend for saying the word, yada yada yada. And bro, there's so many more things in this world that I could
be mad
possibly
about.
think of than us having a casual conversation.
Yeah, of course.
And the
And not
funny
only
is
that, but she's just assuming that because of your skin color,
that you're not from Chicago.
that you're not able to say certain words. And I guess the black community would say, well, if you're not black, you can't say the fucking word. But
It's not like we're saying. It's not said in a hateful manner, though.
if you really
it's
want to
said
be fucking
from friend
technical,
to friend.
though, the word is Latin.
It is.
So technically, Latin people are the ones that should be able to say it before anybody else.
But
in
at the same
world.
time, I know that freedom of speech is also a thing.
It is a freedom of speech.
So
It's not what
technically
you say, it's how
speaking,
you say it.
exactly. So if I say that to you, from friend to friend,
Right.
and it's obviously not in an offensive manner, she should just mind her business.
And my defense is always, you don't hear Jews calling each other, "What's up, kike?" Every other racial,
We may
every
have to
other
bleep
racial
that one
group
out.
does not call each other a
Maybe.
racial slur. But you know,
But my
if you
point
don't
is
want it to be said, don't say it at all.
exactly.
I totally understand that.
Exactly.
I get it.
It all depends on the context.
You
and
don't
how
hear
you're saying
Mexico on the block. What's all spit?
it.
Like
Exactly.
You guys are both invited to my podcast to talk about this subject.
Okay. Anyways, the point being is that we were threatened, and she said that we were not from the South Side, which in fact
she also
we
said that
are.
we wouldn't go to a black community and,
And
say
say
these
those
words,
words.
which
Yes.
we all have.
exactly.
You can more than welcome to my home.
A
Which we
majority of
all have been because besides me because I am black, but we have also I've seen each one of these people have been around actual black people and said the word, and not a tear has dropped from those fellow black
And not one
men's
person has
ears.
been mad.
I mean,
Not one person has been mad
I've
at
never
this
been mad, so.
ever.
because like I will always say, there's way more things in this world that I could be offended about than a word that is used not to be offended about.
What does
offended
being
of.
offended do for anybody in the first place?
I don't know. I had a friend of mine. We were in Kentucky and we were going to the local Walmart, which is like 20 fucking minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And used to go to vacation in Kentucky, we would always assume like it was gonna be just the most racist shit possible. You know what I mean? And then we get there, and people are nice as fuck. You know, like it was Paducah.
You ever been to Buffalo Wild Wings and Rings in Bridgeport?
No,
what about that
There's
place?
one in Kentucky, by
We
the
don't
way.
go there.
Is there really?
Yeah.
I don't go to Bridgeport. But so like we were having a conversation about it. He was like,
You're
well,
not allowed to go to Bridgeport.
I'm not allowed to go to Bridgeport. You know what I'm saying? But we actually was like, well, what if somebody says, calls you a nigger or something like that? And she was like, well, I'll fucking shoot him. I'll fucking kill him at the Walmart. I'm like, but you be in jail and they be
What's the
dead.
point of that?
What
There's a lot of egos flying around the world.
What the hell, dude? Relax. Calm down.
Corporate, regular, just people in the street. If you get mad at people saying certain words, you're a weak-minded person.
Very much
We'll leave it at that.
Words don't hurt me.
Fuck all of you regardless.
Words don't hurt me. My check being short hurts me.
Exactly.
Which is the reason why I don't understand why tranny is considered hate speech.
Hate speech doesn't
When
exist.
before, up until maybe 2-3 years ago, they were called trannies by themselves. They called themselves trannies, and I'm not even just like for an example. You go to Pornhub, you click categories. There's one for gay, there's one for lesbian, there's one for trannies.
I like how you click the category button.
Hey, you
Get
did
a little saucy.
physical
I
click,
might
like-
want fucking hentai this time. You know what I'm saying? I might want Latina milf.
Hentai is very good. I do
Okay, no comment on that.
You did Asian, so.
Regardless. Regardless. What is our next topic?
I think we did it. What was
I think we had one more.
The fake people doing fake things.
Oh yeah. I thought we spoke about that already.
We didn't finish up.
Oh,
We talked
okay.
about future.
Fake drug use. Young Thug.
Yeah.
Called
Over the
out by
summer-
his baby's mama.
Over the summer, Young Thug's baby mama has came out. Maybe I think they were actually having arguments. This might have been why, but I also don't see why she would lie about it.
What does she have to gain from it?
But that's like, there's so many more things she could say besides that. Saying that he doesn't really take the drugs that he says he does, and that he actually rarely even smokes weed or drinks. But I can also believe that in a
But
sense.
his amount of energy, though.
I've
the
seen
energy
this dude
he
live
has.
4 times. That dude's stage presence and live
Doesn't scream
energy
junkie.
is fucking lit compared to the one time I saw Juice WRLD and he was as stale as a fucking bird. To someone that is more of a Percocet, Xanax, lean drinker compared to the Uzi that I seen in 2016 compared to Uzi that I seen now. Energy is way fucking different. Because when you take a downer, bro, once you take a lot of downers, I don't care who you might get reckless
Your
on
energy
downers,
is not like that.
Right.
but I feel like recklessness of taking Xanax is you don't give a fuck,
Exactly.
right? It's not
Yep.
your energy is energetic. It's your mind is I don't give a fuck. I can do whatever the fuck it is that I
lazy.
want.
You're like, you're not really so much lazy, but you're out there. You're vibing,
You're
but
so
you're
calm.
not
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if
But
you
you're
guys
not
ever take
live
Xanax,
like that.
but
You're not alert and fucking just
on
involved
Xanax,
with the
bro,
crowd.
I would literally
like
say
that.
anything worse than I am now because I don't overthink anything. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
No
So
filter.
now, if I see hear the rappers talking about taking Molly and shit like that or coke, like I could believe that because those dudes that say that are also energetic.
And
ODD,
those drugs do energize you.
DMX,
Right.
Yep.
for example. But
Give it
there
up,
was a
boom.
time where like it was like 2009, 2010. I was Lil Wayne did a concert actually where it took him an hour to come out. This is in Louisiana, and his eyes were bloodshot red on the screen.
Oh yeah.
And 30 minutes later, he walked off the stage. He couldn't perform anymore. Too much fucking lean.
Exactly.
You can hear
Too
in
many
someone's
drugs.
voice. I hate to say it, but you can kind of hear in someone's voice what stimulant they are on. If you're
Fair
on
enough.
Molly, coke,
Yep.
upper, you're. If you're on a downer, you're.
fucking
And
mumbling
I don't
your
care
words.
how much of an addict you are because that just means you're gonna take more.
Of course.
Your talent's gonna be higher. You're gonna take more, but you're still gonna have the same fucking effects.
Right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So Young Thug, for example, I don't think he fucking takes these drugs.
I don't think so either. But although Gucci did say in an interview that in his early days he was actually like a really wild person. Like
I believe it.
He had a wild presence, but I don't know if that necessarily involved doing drugs. Maybe that was just his personality because he's a wild person to begin with. I guess a lot of these studios in Atlanta, they're not gonna really fuck with you if you're too crazy or like you have too much going on gang wise and just like he used to show up. He used to show up to studios and just fucking flash his gun around and shit. And a lot of these people won't work with you. They're not comfortable.
They're
around
there
you.
to make music. They're not there
Exactly.
to-
They're not there to be on some game banging shit. They're there to make money.
And even like people like Gunna, I do believe that he's on these drugs because I've seen him live
And he mumbles all of the words
3
to the songs.
times.
But
he is
I'm a
terrible
Gunna fan.
live, and I don't know if it's because he's fucking a little fat and can't.
Malachi, you've never listened to Gunna?
No, probably not.
Okay.
You gotta see me a list of people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Because he's
Even
production
his
wise.
music sounds like.
Yeah. He sounds
a
like
little
he's mumbling a
fucking-
lot.
Really?
Kind of like
Low.
how Lil Baby is. We
Kinda
talked
like
on the
how
last
Lucky X was.
podcast too.
Yeah, because I just heard the Lucky. You just put it on the
Yeah.
songs. I was like, whoa.
Very
wow.
lazy, slurred. Like
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
It sounds like the beat and the production sounds pretty good though. But
And we actually talked on the last recording we did about how Lil Baby. I showed you an example
Showed
of
the
him
video,
in the
yeah.
studio,
Yeah,
or not in the studio. He was doing an interview, and he's over here twitching and doing all types of crazy shit
that's
off of the
Sherm right
Percocet.
there.
Yeah, and it's like,
It's funny you say that. That's all my social media account names. Because my initials
Sherm.
are PCP.
yep.
Oh yeah, he's
Sure.
like he's on it. He was, didn't
Yeah, fucking
fighting
twitching.
Twitch and shit,
I'll be in the
yeah.
studio. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
That shit's crazy.
And it's just crazy to think that even if you aren't taking these drugs,
Why would
why
wanna
are you
brag about-
rapping about it? But it also makes sense because Future, for example, will say he's taking a perky and he feels like he's geeked, but the definition of feeling geeked is wired.
Exactly.
You know, so or like them saying like, I took a perky, I feel like I'm on the moon. Like, no, you technically don't because it's not a mind high, it's a body high.
Your
If
body.
you're a body
But
high,
maybe
you feel
that's.
lazy. You may feel like you're floating in a
I
way
get that. Yeah, I
because
get
you're
that.
weightless.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you ever take an acid, you feel like you're out of fucking space. You feel me?
Yeah, but I mean, it all depends on what
I feel
your
like people
interpretation of outer space is, though.
Yeah.
Because like, for example, if you take a narco, you may feel like your body's floating, because that's just the way it makes you feel physically, and that could be your interpretation of what space is like, depending on where at in space you are. I mean, we're in
guess.
space right now, but I won't get into that. That's too deep, but you get the point.
I can't wait for January 1st so I can get into space for a while.
Yeah, no
So
comment.
January
Yeah, no comment.
Anyways, January 1st has already been happening.
Well, no, legally.
For a long time.
I'm the old head. I do things by the book.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Look, you grew up selling crack. What you mean?
Yeah, by
Not
the
you,
book.
but you're fucking.
You did shit
your-
by the
your-
book.
Your generation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, old heads did a lot of shit that people still do.
Of course.
It's just they didn't have surveillance cameras as much as we do now.
Oh boy. Yeah, the area
Very
you guys
true.
live in, oh my god.
My grandma told me about it. She grew up. She lived in like Bridgeport, Canaryville, back of the yards type area, and she was telling me back in the '80s and shit, and late '70s. She was like, man, well, I can't really say much because it's my grandma, but
Yeah, you don't want to incriminate.
she
your
was just
grandmother.
like, man, back in the day, she's like, there was a street which is like by Canaryville, back in the yards, kind of like the meat packing over there.
I think I know what you're talking
A
about.
little bit. And she's like, do you know how many murders have happened on this street?
Oh,
She's like, you wouldn't. She's like, if you were black and walked down this street, you would be beat to death every like it was just impossible to walk by. And it makes me think like, God damn, I'm glad to be alive in the fucking 2000s and 90s,
And
bro. 'Cause
people
if I
take
had
that
to
for
run
granted.
from school every day from a bunch of Italians, bro, I'd be fucking pissed.
What Jesse Smollett did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. I just want to say one thing. Producers, stop using MIDI packs and claiming that these beats are your own.
Yes.
And internet money, I'm sending shots to you. I fuck with a couple of you, but there's
Or
a
if you
very
use
specific
MIDI
few.
packs, at least say like this was.
Yeah,
MIDI.
at least give a disclaimer.
like
we know you didn't
put
make
your
that.
ego to the side. There's been beats that I've made. He showed Greg. I was like, yeah, this is a fucking MIDI, bro.
But we're honest about it.
But
You're
we're
not.
honest
You
about
can't.
it.
Not necessarily
'Cause
just
sometimes
internet money.
you have a beat block,
Yeah,
and you
sometimes
need some
you
kind
might.
of inspiration.
But if you make a hit off of it, don't claim it as your own, please. Please just don't.
Unless it was like a very basic like fucking chord progression, then literally anybody, that's anybody's.
If
thing.
you actually had a creative say so in the flow of the melody, that's a different story.
I guess you guys will teach me more about these later.
Yes, yes. That actually might be something covered in our
Most
segment
definitely. I
about
definitely
making
wanna do that,
beats.
though, with the whole thing. Don't forget the other
Inexperienced
segment
beat
we're thinking
making.
about doing too, the whole shocking people of older generation.
Yes.
Music.
Most definitely.
like a reaction type vibe.
Yeah.
We'll speak more on that the next podcast, but that'll definitely be part of it.
So this wraps up the second segment of Frequency Junkies, and
Quote unquote first.
if you haven't caught the understanding of the name, it's because me and Greg are producers.
Very much so.
So
Very good at that. How about that?
so
thank you. I
of course
appreciate
we're
that.
junkies for sound
Frequencies.
frequencies,
Vibrations.
whether it's 200 or 2000.
Or yeah, we'll leave it at that.
I feel a little wavy already because I haven't really ate much today. But
Same.
that concludes the episode.
I appreciate you guys letting me on. Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Malachi
Most
will
definitely.
most likely be here a lot more often.
Yes.
Be on the lookout though, because we are going to be looking for rappers, producers, videographers, whatever.
Graphic designers.
If you are just some kind of creative person, we're going to be looking to interview you. And if you are a rapper, best believe we finna hit that
Yes.
Funk Master Flex 5 fingers. Oh, wait, my bad. That's Sway. 5 fingers of death.
Right.
But if you come on this motherfucker, rather I know you personally or not, I will tell you if it's trash.
Yes, we
And
are
I
going
will
to be
cut you the fuck
completely
off.
honest with you.
Well, I
If
guess
it's
we-
trash, you're done.
I guess you guys will be on the hot seat a little bit too. You try to put a beat on.
Yes.
You know, for them.
Oh, yeah, of course.
course, yeah,
We're actually
most
going to be
definitely.
working on making an intro for this shit. So this
Yeah, we
is just first
definitely have
take.
to.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So
There'll be a lot more to
Go
this.
stream Jesus is King and go stream Kembe X. I made this when I was depressed.
And Lucky.
Also Lucky X. I can't remember the fucking name of it right now. Give me 1 second. Days Before 3. He released the second part a couple years ago.
Let us know how you guys feel about these albums, and give us some feedback.
If you have any topics,
We may or may not listen to it, by the way.
yeah, because if it's gonna give me some Benny the Butcher, Conway Shem, listen to that trash ass
Yes.
shit.
Or
But- and
you
mo-
don't listen to that shit either.
Bad Barbie, yeah, whatever.
Most likely.
Peace.